So you'll probably notice when it comes to building in Terraria that oftentimes the bigger the build or the more intricate, well, the more it sort of stands out and the more interesting you actually think it is. But sometimes there's builds that stand out because of their simplicity and because of just some of the design elements, and that's exactly what we've got today. Hey Terraria fans, welcome back to another speed build video. Guys, in this one I'm going to be making a waterside home, and I'm going with a really kind of simple and straightforward design. Or, well, maybe the design isn't simple, but the concept is. Now, for the sake of you guys, I do like to actually build a lot of fairly intricate designs and builds, but in general I like to build stuff that's like wood, stone, a comfy house, that kind of thing. So while the build itself is relatively simple and a little bit on the smaller side, I definitely wanted to make sure that the architecture stood out and that I kind of kept a theme when it came to colors and materials. And if I'm honest, this is the exact style of build that I really truly like, and probably the one that I fall back to the most. Now, if you'd like to catch me building some of these simple designs, you can actually do so, guys, live on Twitch. The link is down below. I usually stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so if you do have some extra time, do feel free to pop in. But if you can't make it, guys, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, or hit the little dinner bell thingy so you can know when the next video hits the old YouTube universe. And because, of course, it's free, it helps the channel out, and may even allow YouTube to share this more widely to a broader audience that is maybe a little bit curious about Terraria builds. Now, that said, guys, before we hop into the build, don't forget to tune in until the end of the video because I will be covering all of the materials I used in this build. So if you're looking to make a similar design or, I guess, an exact replica, you'll actually be able to do so fairly easily. So, yeah, check that out. All right, so with that said, guys, let's get to the build, shall we? All right, folks, with the waterfront property now done, let's go ahead and cover all of the materials like I promised at the beginning of this video. Now, as always, I encourage you to pause the video here if you'd like to take a closer look at anything that I've used, because of course, this will be a good cheat sheet for you to use should you want to make something similar or make an exact replica. Now, one thing you'll notice is there are a lot of walls that were used in this, but again, we kept it very streamlined and simple because most of this stuff was painted brown. So a lot of wood was used, guys. Pretty much every wood block or wall you can think of is in this design. Ebon wood, planked wall, and a couple of different fences, including rich mahogany, boreal wood, and even pearl wood. So yeah, we've got the wood blocks and materials basically all covered. When it comes to stone and bricks, guys, we use some stone slab, some obsidian wall, which we use sparingly in the roof, as well as some ebonstone brick wall, some gray brick wall, some mudstone brick wall, and some hellstone brick wall. So again, not a lot of options here when it came to the design. I think I wanted to keep it very streamlined and simple. You could obviously branch out and use craggy stone as well in certain spots like I did, but you can go crazy and use any brick that you like. Some of the dungeon bricks would fit here quite nicely, like the green slab, that kind of thing. Now, for a little bit of texture, I did use some Krampus horn wallpaper, but that again is used very sparingly along with our purple rain wallpaper. So again, you'll be able to pick these out fairly readily, but overall, guys, there's a lot of walls. And while we did use the chlorophyte brick wall as well, there's nothing really, I think, that stands out as being too crazy in terms of the type or choice. The texture here is meant to be very sort of, I guess, linear and not too crazy. We want to keep everything streamlined, and I think we did a pretty good job with that selection of walls. When it comes to blocks, guys, we were using the exact counterpart. So pretty much every wall that we use has a counterpart wood block that is being used. So again, spooky wood, boreal wood, some ebon wood, pearl wood, rich mahogany, and some ash wood. This build is predominantly going to be all wood and a little bit of stone, which includes some mudstone, some gray brick, some ebonstone, and some hellstone brick. So nothing stands out, guys. Nothing really unique here. A lot of wood. Keeping it simple was really the key. And finally, guys, when it comes to paints, the idea of simplicity remains. We use some green paint, we use some gray paint, we use some brown paint, some deep red paint, and some echo paint. So really just 4 paints and something to hide a few details. That is it. Now, again, you could go a little bit crazier with the color choices here. I actually encourage that. Now, I will say that I did use a couple of different paints on those hanging lights on the dock. I didn't want to cover those here because obviously that's a choice that you can make. But yeah, as you can see, despite a small build, there are a lot of materials here, but again, they're very streamlined. They're all basically variants of wood and a few of the stone or brick types. So it's pretty straightforward, although you will need to mess around a little bit with the texture. But with all that said, we have now covered all of the materials. So let's go ahead and move on with the rest of the video. All right, guys, so there you go. There is our waterside home or cottage, or I guess mansion if you want, done. I think it looks really good. It's got some really funky features, but I think it's the architecture that really stands out. So this is a really good example of a build that, despite its simplicity, stands out. And that's because we've added little elements like the stairs, a water feature, even those little colored lights above the dock that just kind of make all this, well, yeah, stand out a bit more than you might expect. Now, initially, I did want to use a lot of colors in this build because I thought that would be more interesting, but I'm actually really glad I stuck with a simple palette of red, brown, and gray. It just really makes everything a little bit more cohesive. I do find it's not as distracting, and again, this whole thing just sort of flows a bit better. That said, there isn't one feature in particular that stands out. I really do like the landscaping work and the sort of water feature on the right side of the build, but I think really just the overall design, maybe in the chimney area, is really nice. It's kind of like a little forge or blacksmithing area. The floor underneath, while relatively empty, it just adds a nice bit of that architectural feel and spacing to the build that I think actually is a big part of why this feels a bit more interesting and even more intricate in some ways. But of course, that's just my opinion, guys, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. What's your favorite feature in this build? What did you like overall? Maybe some things you didn't like, and of course, a few ideas for some builds that you'd like to see me do in the future. Because of course, as you know, I am very open to suggestions, and I like to take some of your comments to heart and actually build exactly what you guys ask for, because it's a good challenge and it's a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, with all that said, thank you so much for watching until the end of this video, and as always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.